Hello, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Taste of Magic. This episode, I'm going to be talking about the upcoming set Return to Ravnica. Return to Ravnica is coming out fall of this year, so it's a little way off, but I'm going to be talking about some of the speculation we have. One of the things that we learned about this set is that the art is going to be amazing. The San Diego Comic Con had Mark Rosewater show us some of the art, and it is pretty awesome looking. Just he showed us mostly just land art. And speaking of lands, everybody's wondering whether or not the Shocklands are going to come back. I'm pretty sure that the Shocklands are going to be reprinted for several reasons. One of the reasons is ever since they made modern format, they've been saying that they are going to reprint the important cards for modern so that it makes it easier to play modern, which is the problem that they have with legacy, which is nobody can get the cards they need. And the dual lands from the original Ravnica block are very important. One of the reasons that we can tell this is also because of all the cards that they put into Magic 2013. There is a bunch of cards that talk about land types and not basic lands. For instance, the Arbor Elf, who untaps a forest, not a basic forest. Farseek, which is reprinted from the original Ravnica, and even the Gem of Becoming, which is the artifact for Nicobolas, which lets you search your library for an island, swamp, and a mountain, and they do not have to be basic. And also Liliana of the Dark Realms, who gives you lots of swamp powers, and Mutilate's been reprinted. Lots of cards are talking about basic land cards. There's also, they have reprinted the dual lands from 2010, where they come into play untapped if you have the right type of land. This is the fourth time they have been reprinted, and several people from Wizards have said that they did not want to reprint them, but they did because of Return to Ravnica, which means that they will probably have the Shocklands in them. Another couple cards are the Veilborn Ghoul. There's also a set of 5 different cards. It's a cycle where there's one for each color, and the creature gets +1/+1 if you have a friendly land type. Um, so, all those reasons are reasons why we probably will see the Shocklands come back. Some other things that I want to talk about are Planeswalkers. We know from the San Diego Comic Con that Return to Ravnica will have 2 Planeswalkers, and Gatecrash will also have 2 Planeswalkers, and predictably, the third set in the block will also have 1 Planeswalker. Typically, we're seeing about 5 Planeswalkers per block. So, since this is Ravnica, we will probably be seeing multicolored Planeswalkers, which is pretty exciting. So far, we have had, of the 10 possible combinations of 2 colors, there have been 7 Planeswalkers printed. Uh, there's Venser for white-blue, uh, Sarkhan, which was red and black, and Garrick was black and green. Ajani was red and white, and Sorin was white and black, and also Tezzeret was blue and black, and also the first Sarkhan was green and red. So there are 3 color combinations that we have not seen yet, and we will probably get at least 2 of them. I don't know if we'll get all 3 of them in Return to Ravnica block, but we might. You never know. So one of the things, if you played Duels of the Planeswalkers, there are 2 Planeswalkers that we know that exist that have not gotten cards yet. One of them is Ral Zarek, who is actually from Ravnica, and he is originally from the Izzet League, and so he is red blue, which was one of the colors that we don't have. But according to the art that we've seen, we also know Jace is going to be in Return to Ravnica. Jace is obviously blue, and we see him in this picture, and he's standing next to Niv Mizzet, who is also the leader of the Izzet League. And so I have to wonder, are they going to make a red-blue Jace? Or are they going to bring in the new guy, Ral, and make him the first red-blue planeswalker? So I would prefer the new guy over Jace getting red. I prefer Jace as just blue. I don't really see him as red-blue personally, but that's my thought. We also know in Gatecrash, Gideon's going to be back, and we can tell from the picture that he has obviously joined leagues with the Boros Legion. The last time we saw Gideon was in Zendikar block, and he actually planeswalked away from Zendikar to Ravnica looking for help. So it makes a lot of sense why we see him here. Also, Jace, which he was originally in Ravnica. He spent a lot of time there if you read his book, Agents of Artifice. The other planeswalker that we know exists that has never gotten a card is Kiora Atoa, who is a green-blue planeswalker from Dominaria. Now, she also, we might see, that's another color combination that we haven't seen, is green-blue. And we know from the presentation in San Diego Comic-Con that merfolk are going to be in Return to Ravnica, and the leader of the Simic guild is going to be a merfolk herself, which means that we might see Kiora Atoa in Gatecrash, which would be the second set where the Simic League is going to be there. Another thing that we saw at San Diego Comic-Con is all the guilds have remade guild symbols. And some of them are very different, some of them are pretty much the same. The Azorius is very similar, but if you notice, the inside of the circle used to be a maze, and now it's runes. Boros, which used to be a fist in front of a sun, now is a fist that is more starbursty. Dimir is pretty much the same. Golgari is different. The snakes on the outside of the insect, which formed kind of a recycling theme, are gone, and now they have antenna on the main insect body. The insect face is also not as stylized. The Gruul, which used to be a bush or a tree on fire, is now more of a bonfire, and there's a circle at the center, which may be the eye of the guild leader. The guild leader is a Cyclops. The Izzet is much more stylized, much more clean, and you can definitely tell that it is a picture of Niv Mizzet, not just a random dragon. Orzhov is pretty much exactly the same. Rakdos is now a picture of Rakdos instead of a skull on fire. It has horns on the side. The mouth still looks like pincers, which is a little weird. Celestia is pretty much the same. It's a sun and a tree. It looks pretty good. Simic is also mostly the same. The tail at the bottom is a little longer. It's kind of a wave and a tree. So I like those. Golgari is probably my least favorite symbol of the 10 guilds, and I think my new favorite is definitely Izzet. I like the new symbol a lot. I like it much better than the old one. So that is all I'm going to talk about for Return to Ravnica right now. I'm sure we'll be finding out lots more next month as we get closer to the release. So I'll see you next time for Taste of Magic.